Hi, my name is Lindsay Warren. I chose to write my paper on ethnic and religious conflict. The main reason that I chose to write my paper on this topic is because I had just recently got done reading this book, The Help. And in The Help, let's see, at the very beginning, it starts off, I'm going to read the first paragraph to you. It says, May Mobley was born on an early Sunday morning in August 1960. A church baby, we like to call it. Taking care of white babies, that's what I do, along with all the cooking and the cleaning. I done raised 17 kids in my lifetime. I know how to get them babies to sleep, stop crying, and go in the toilet bowl before they mamas even get out of bed in the morning. You know, that's the typical dialect of the colored help in the house. But a lot of people found out, look, it's written by a white lady. That really bothered a lot of people today. As a white girl, I can relate to one of the main characters, Skeeter, because when she started becoming interested in the Jim Crow laws and sort of showing a slight interest in the civil rights movement, and she didn't approve of her friend Hilly's plan to create a separate bathroom for the colored help. And her friends started to slowly shun her out of the social group, and she just ended up being all just kind of alone. And she couldn't really, just change social groups and hang out with the colored people because that wasn't accepted in the time. That was pretty much illegal. Like Jim Crow laws, they just had to all be separated. So she had a really hard time. And, I can relate, I wouldn't probably be like one of those political figures who you read about in the history books. I would just, my problem would be like hers, just shunned from your group of friends. Another book that I also talked about in my paper was The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Oh, big lights glare. There it is. This group of people decided they were going to make a different book, a new version of it, and change the N-word. I don't use that word. See, that it bothers a lot of people. They were going to change the N-word to the word slave, and it would make people feel less uncomfortable when they read it. Like, a lot of people read it out loud, like in classrooms and stuff, and, this man, he would change the word to slave out of habit anyway when he would read it out loud. And so he just decided to make another book where it was actually in there like that. But it kind of defeats the purpose of the book. The way that it was written is supposed to be, how it stays. Because it's supposed to make people feel awkward, because that's how Mark Twain wanted it to be. It really shows, that's what they said in that time period. They don't need to gloss it over, because that's how things really were. They just thought of them like that, and they called them that, and that's how it was. Another point that I wrote about in my paper was how Muslim, or anybody that looks like Muslim or terrorist stereotype kind of person, how they're treated in America, with a lot of prejudice and racism in comparison to how the Japanese were treated after World War II. It reminded me of my friend Pavneet, who is right here. She's an Indian. She's not a Muslim. She's a Sikhism. That's her religion, is Sikhism. But her family and everyone in her religion, they all wear the turbans, and they wear the traditional, the Indian dresses, and they just look very different. And my friends and I went to go visit her. She lives in New York City now. We went to go visit her last December, and we all went to an Indian temple for the first time. And that was a really neat experience. There were tons of Indian people. A lot of them spoke English, not all of them. And there was 4 white girls there, and that was very unusual. That had never happened before. And they didn't give us, strange, racist, what are you doing here looks. They were really excited to see us. They were happy that we were there embracing their culture, because they're so used to people having racist attitudes toward them. Thank you for watching my visual presentation, and if you haven't, go read the help.